Hi, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about time management and how to get the most out of your time. So, this is something that is really important to me, and I mean it's not specific or special to me, but just to state an example is that I'm the sole proprietor of my business. Everything that I contract with my clients for has to be delivered by me. I have to make sure that I'm on the right calls, that I am delivering the things that have been promised to my clients, that I do so in a way that is not slowing things down. It's very important for me to be on time, to deliver things in a high quality, at a high quality state. So, to do that, I have to be able to manage my time in a way that allows me to do all of those things. So, I wanted to share with you today some tips that I use, things that I actually use in my daily life that have helped me manage time so that I can get all the things that I need to get done. And this is specific to my business. This isn't like all the things in my life but I do use a lot of the same things that I use in my business, in my personal life, to make sure I'm getting the things that I need to get done and still have time to thrive, to do all the other things that I want to do, not just the things I need to do. So, I'm going to share with you 5 tips that I use on a regular basis, and hopefully they can help you too. We could talk all day about tips on how to manage time. There's like so many of them out there. I could give you easily 15 of them, but we're going to go over 5 because I think it's really important when you're trying to create habits that you're not overwhelmed with the things that you're trying to implement or change in your life. So, starting out small with a couple of different tips, integrating those, making sure that they become habits and things that you're doing on a regular basis, and then adding to it if you need to. So, these are my top 5. So, the first one that I use is ruthless prioritization. I think it's really important for us to be honest on the things that are going to be manageable and that you can do, and prioritize. The problem in a lot of businesses is that, or in any work that you're doing, everything becomes important, which means nothing is important anymore. Everything becomes the bar, the status quo. So you really have to figure out what are the things that are important so that you can prioritize those over things that are not so important. So the first thing that I do is to have ruthless prioritization is I like to use the Eisenhower matrix. If you haven't used this before, it's extremely useful in visualizing the things that are important, the things that are not. So what this is it's a 4 quadrant matrix. And what you're going to do is you're going to put on the left hand side, you're going to put the 2 rows are important and not important. And then the columns are urgent and not urgent. And so anything that is in the important and urgent box, those are the things you're going to do first. Those are the things you must do, that you have to do. And so you're going to do those first because if you delay those, they might not get done and they may not get done well. So then we're going to move over a column. It's the non-urgent and important column. Those you want to schedule. So they're not urgent, so it doesn't mean you have to do them right now, even though you might because you like to procrastinate. And they might be easy, but you schedule those. You schedule those so that they take precedent after the things you must do first, the highest priority things. Then we're going to move to the next row. The next row is the not important row. And so again, we have those columns, the urgent and the not important. That's where they cross each other. And for those, you're going to delegate them. Now, you may not be a manager, there may be other people on your team, but those are the things that are urgent, but they're not important. And so they're not important to the business. So you're going to delegate those out because you may not be the expert and you have to take care of the things you need to do first. So make sure that they're done. And so having teammates that can help with that would be great. Then we're going to move over to the not urgent column and the not important box. So those are the things you're just going to cross off your list. Those are never going to happen. You can rest assured that you don't have to tackle those tasks because they're not urgent and they're not important. Why spend time on that? So that's the ruthless prioritization that you should take into account, is evaluating those things. And it's not something that you set and just let go. Those are things you're going to have to do on a regular basis. There might be things that move from your not important and urgent column, the not important and urgent, so in the delegation box, they may move up to higher prioritized things so that they become part of do first, because somebody else might not be able to take those over a period of time. So make sure that you're constantly evaluating the tasks that you have to do and the strategy that you have to do. The next one is build in efficiencies. So this is a really hard one for a lot of people to do, is that a lot of times we take on tasks and we have to do them on a regular basis, right? So it's something that comes up maybe every month or every week that you have to do, and you haven't taken the time to step back and say, okay, I have to do these things. I'm just going to run through it. And so instead of taking that step back and saying, well, how can I make this more efficient? Do I create a template? Do I create a process? Do I borrow things from other people? So building in those things that make it more efficient for you to get that task done, because it is repetitive. If it is repetitive, and you have to get it done, put some structure around it so that you're not spending 30 minutes doing it, you're spending 10 minutes doing it, and that will give you an extra 20 minutes to devote to something else. So when you're prioritizing your time, it is worth it to spend an extra hour to buy yourself back time over, because you're essentially going to pay yourself back in time by building in those efficiencies. So if it takes you an hour, and you're going to get back your time within a couple of weeks of just having built that process, and you'll likely become even faster as you build in those efficiencies. You'll find other ways of tweaking the process so that it just becomes faster and faster for you. This next one is one that is very difficult for people, and I have had a lot of issues with it myself, because I like to make sure that I'm living up to people's expectations and that people want to work with me. So this one is saying no, and ensuring that when you say no, that is a complete sentence. It's not no but or no if. It is no. If it does not fit in your Eisenhower matrix, if it is not something that you can do efficiently, if it's outside your scope, if it is something that you just don't have time for, say no. Say no. If it doesn't fit in the urgent, important bucket or the not urgent and important bucket, say no to it. Say no, and that's it. Like, the person should respect your boundaries. And so if you don't do that, people will constantly be coming back to you because they know that your boundary is fluid. You can move it around according to what people are looking for. Now, and the reason you should say no is because you need to concentrate on the things that you need to deliver, the things you need to do. Because if you don't, and you're taking on extra tasks, you're going to start doing everything badly. And we don't want that, because that hurts your brand, because you are your brand. It hurts the people's trust in you. And overall, you're going to be unhappy with yourself because you're delivering sub-product deliverables. So no is a complete sentence, and don't be afraid to use it. So the fourth thing is find your way, the thing that works for you to focus. So whether that be blocking out time on your calendar where it is deep work time and people must respect that, whether it's shutting the world out. Maybe, like, one of the things that I like to do is I have an app on my phone that plays brown noise. And brown noise allows me, I put my headphones in, and if I have to read, or I have to read something or consume it, if I have to write, if I have to put together a presentation, I block out the world by putting on the brown noise. And the brown noise actually has psychological or physiological things that happen in your body that allows you to focus in on the thing that you're trying to accomplish. So find a space that allows you to do that. If you have a noisy house, go to a coffee shop. I know it's not always possible for people, and you might be rolling your eyes, but find a place that allows you to get away from things that are distracting you, from the dog that needs to take a walk, from, kids running around the house. If you need to do deep work, then you have to find your place where you have some peace to do that, and that you actually can focus, that you're not looking at a TV, that you're not listening to podcasts, that you're actually just focusing. And I like brown noise myself, but I have to shut out the world or I get distracted by things very easily. And the last thing is build in free time into your calendar. Now, again, you may be rolling your eyes at me, but if you don't build in free time into your calendar, and that this is not free time that you're using to go put a load of laundry in or fold the laundry or to go run an errand or to take a walk. This is, and it could be take a walk. I mean, like that's actually a great way to have free time to think. But you need time if you are, especially if you're project based and you're in a creative space or anything like that, you need time to allow your brain to not just be jumping from task to task to task. That free time to let your brain wander, to let it think, to let it rest, to let it be creative is something that we overlook, because a lot of times what we think we need to be doing is working every single second, working on a deliverable, heads down from the time we start work to the time we end work. And that is fatiguing for your brain because you're completely jumping from thing to thing. And so your brain never gets the time to be creative, to think about things. Artists need time to think. We, as people who are, if you and I'm not an artistic person, but if I'm going to be creative to come up with a slogan or a blog topic or something like that, I need to give my brain time to think about those things, to think deeply about them and let the creativity come out. So don't be afraid to build that into your calendar as times for you to have your brain just work on things that need to be creative and have those creative juices running. So anyway, those are my 5 tips. And if you have any questions, I'd love to have a conversation about it. Or if you have additional tips that work for you on how you manage your time, leave them in the comments. I would love to engage with you in a conversation there. So I'll talk to you soon. And if you have any questions, hit me up on my website at rosalear.com. Thanks. Bye.